Thanks. Thanks, Bimlesh. So I'm joined here by Kaushik, my co-founder. And first of all, I would like to thank the foundership team. I think Santosh, Pranav, and Vimlesh. We started when we were a piece of paper. So I think it's been quite an exciting journey for us. We made multiple ideas and pivots, and I think it's great to present today at the showcase. So the journey of Zoth started with mine and Kaushik's experience in Budweiser or Avian Web. We used to run a fintech business. We kind of also did multiple initiatives there. And one of the opportunities we saw in a big way is the ability of Web3 to change lives for small and medium businesses, for real world players. Because, crypto on its own, there is opportunity and it's scaling up, but how do you scale it beyond and really impact people on a day-to-day business? And if I look at from our experience, one of the core things that we saw is that in developed market, especially in Western markets, the cost of capital is significantly low. But in emerging markets, especially in markets of Africa, Southeast Asia, and India, the cost of capital is significantly high. And while only less than 0.5% of total traditional financing have moved to DeFi. It's growing at a significant pace, but the challenge is that it has not picked up the way it should due to various reasons, which include the illiquidity of real world assets, ability to bring real world assets on chain, and also most of the DeFi lending is currently done through collaterals, which is on chain collateral, which is very difficult for a typical lender or a small business owner to understand. We at Zoth feel Web3 gives the opportunity of really leveraging and creating a level playing field for emerging markets as they as they kind of compete with developed markets. And the biggest opportunity lies of linking both DeFi investors who are used to high yields to real world assets in emerging markets. However, there are three key problems of DeFi and linking DeFi to real world assets. One, it's very difficult to tokenize. The cost and the legal issues involved are quite high. There is limited liquidity that's available. And there is current DeFi ecosystems, there is no risk mitigation in place. For example, the entire risk lies with the DeFi investor. There are no default guarantees, and primarily the collaterals are driven primarily by the prices of or price fluctuation of the cryptocurrencies, which in themselves challenge the whole model of bringing DeFi liquidity to real world assets. At the same time, emerging markets present a big opportunity. They're growing, especially in the market of Southeast Asia, India, and Africa. The businesses are hungry for growth. There is strong demand for capital. The cost of capital is very high, providing a unique opportunity for DeFi investors to come on board. So at Zoth, we power small and medium businesses by solving this $5 trillion credit gap, which has been identified by World Bank and was of the top gaps for emerging markets. We primarily work on the structure of an index pool, which allows our lenders to invest in the Zoth index pool and also provide multiple features like mutualization and liquid staking, enabling risk mitigation and also ensuring that there are drawdowns which are linked to a parabolic curve to take care of both lower collaterals and ensuring that there are no liquidity challenges in place. Well, DeFi lending is growing. There are more than 400 billion worth of liquidity that has moved towards DeFi lending. However, there are also risks that have come in. We have seen multiple incidents coming in this space. So how is the current model and how are we kind of catering to that? So most of the DeFi model currently focuses on lenders kind of working through non-NBFCs or non-banking financial corporations and working with DeFi lenders who primarily act as an aggregator, taking very limited risk, and primarily most of the DeFi liquidity is done through stable coins as of today. And there are multiple varied underwriting standards and limited hedging capabilities that lie on it. At Zoth, however, we take end-to-end ownership, which includes working with not only just stablecoin issuers, but cryptocurrencies through our partnership with platforms like DNC, which allows us to create escrow accounts on multiple cryptocurrencies. The mutualization of our product allows us to create hedging capabilities, which ensures that the investors are investing across a basket of assets. So default of a particular asset doesn't impact the whole basket. The credit check and underwriting is something which we do. Between me and my co-founder, we ran a successful lending business, which enabled us to only vet assets which primarily have the right credit rating on the platform. And there are insurance products, on-chain insurance products, which we have built in, which ensures that there are enough default risks that are protected. So where are we right now? So we primarily around, we wanted to focus on areas because the whole market size is big, where we have strong interest. Based on our previous experience, we are focusing on SMB lending, invoice discounting, and asset leasing. In SMB lending, we are partnering with the consumer goods companies, primarily companies which have already strong reach across the small and medium businesses and are either have multiple fintech partnerships or are building new fintech partnerships to drive supply chain across their trade. We are currently in discussions with some of the top brands in the space. In terms of asset leasing, we are partnering with high growth companies in India and other e-commerce heavy markets, which again need strong capital infusion to drive their growth. And invoice discounting primarily for exporters and companies with strong order book, enabling us low default and ensuring that there are strong risk mitigation principles in place, both off-chain and on-chain, which we can leverage through our platform. For our invoice discounting product, we have signed a $1 million deal with one of the largest stablecoin providers and ensuring us, and we are deploying it across our invoice discounting pool. We will take you through our product, right, in a separate demo, but primarily a fully Web3 native product, which ensures that there is a strong a custodial wallet in place with multiple assets mutualized on our platform. And Kaushik, my co-founder, can briefly touch upon it, giving an overview of some of the key features that we are building in it.
Yeah, apologies. So we have observed a lot of players in this space, and we have identified that primarily in the structure of funds that they have established, there's multiple separate funds that they are raising every now and then. And when you invest in a particular fund, which is linked to real world assets, and the fund is tokenized real world assets on chain, you don't have any other option to invest in multiple other funds together, or the model is risk prone towards that one fund getting delinquent. In our model, we essentially try to utilize the concept of mutualization, as Preetham mentioned, where our fund is mutualized across multiple different asset classes coming from different areas and different different regions as well. So now that creates a strategy where your investment will be exposed to multiple regions, multiple asset classes, individual assets themselves, which gives you a lot of risk, risk proofing in terms of your funds being on the fund, funds being safe. And when you look at the type of tokens that we give for the entirety of the fund, Zoth Index pool or Zoth Index fund, we essentially give out Zoth asset tokens, which are essentially the tokens which back your loan. When you lend on Zoth, essentially you receive Zoth asset tokens, which are backed by, again, real world asset class collaterals that are present in the pool or the fund. So overall, we have established a structure where the index pool or index fund will act as one single source of funds coming from DeFi investors and going across multiple regions into multiple different asset classes across emerging markets. And most importantly, we have also developed a liquid staking protocol, which essentially gives access to liquidity for all these asset tokens. So we enable anyone on the index pool, if they want to exit out of the pool when they want their loan back. We have established a protocol which gives liquidity incentives to them. And we are collecting currently liquidity from multiple different players across through different partnerships. And as the entire pool is focused on one token, which is Zoth asset token, there's a lot of utility that we are building where if you loan out, let's say $1,000 on the fund and you've received these Zoth asset tokens, you essentially can use these tokens as collateral and get additional loan through our utility players. So we are working with multiple companies over there where you can utilize your already loaned out tokens to get additional loan on them by using them as collateral. So at the end, what we're trying to do is build an ecosystem where we have players such as institutional lenders, we have individual DeFi lenders, and also real world assets, SMEs, real world funds coming together in a single platform, working together with each other. So that's the entire vision.
Yeah, thanks, Bimlesh. So quickly, we have, building over the last few months, and over the last few months, we have raised capital. Initially, we partnered with both stablecoin issuers as well as crypto money markets, as well as are in progress of pipeline with some of the top brands. In terms of GTM, we, one of the core beliefs between both of us is to kind of first test our hypothesis. So we worked across multiple hypotheses and we have got initial traction and customers. And as I mentioned, about $1 million worth of loan book, which we have already scaled. And we became, in fact, the only asset tokenization company in India to be part of the regulatory sandbox. We are also part of Stellar Bootcamp, Stellar USDC, and we are also selected as part of one of the top 5 DeFi projects by Hypernest, run by Polygon Ventures. The size of the opportunity is huge. There is a huge private credit gap across emerging markets. Just across our core focus areas, we see an opportunity of build $1 billion business within the scale of the next few years because the demand is high where there is a significant amount of DeFi liquidity that's available. Our core revenue model will focus on interest arbitrage, where we basically play, as well as liquid staking pools and index funds, allowing us enough bandwidth to earn fees and earn interest across multiple sources. And we are currently have built our initial product. We have got our P2B customers, and we are now in the process of launching in testnet our pilot product for DeFi retail users. Our focus will initially be high net worth individuals and B2B customers to scale up our TVL quickly and fast. Our founding team consists of business builders, me and Kaushik, we're both ex-Budweiser. We scaled a fintech business and also launched Web3 products. We have Rakit, who is head of product, ex-Bain, and Parshav, who are head of regulatory as well as legal for Zoth. And we have Pratyush and Ekank with strong experience in building as well as selling DeFi protocols, as well as experience in strategy and risk management across various places. Our current investors include institutional funds as well as Web3 native ventures like Animoca brand. Our advisors also include fintech unicorn founders like Kunal Shah, and we have established partnerships across the liquidity provisioning as well as product partnerships, allowing us scale and growth. I have a demo, but yeah, means we are in the process of raise. Anybody interested can reach out to us, and we can talk about the specific terms. It's part of the